Booster 18 just exploded at Starbase. Tens of millions of dollars turned into scrap metal in seconds. Flight 12's partner for early 2026 is gone. So what's SpaceX's move now? Here's the twist. Booster 12, the first Super Heavy ever caught by Mechazilla, is sitting in Rocket Garden right now in perfect condition. It could fly in January and save the entire timeline. But will SpaceX actually use it, or is there something we're missing? Welcome to Space Update 24 Hours. Let's dive right in. Right now at Starbase, the cleanup crew is performing surgery on what's left of Booster 18. Giant cranes loom over twisted stainless steel. Workers with laser torches are systematically cutting apart a machine that cost tens of millions to build. The forward section came down first, the part holding the methane tank. 9 meters in diameter, several tons of metal, had to be sliced into 3 pieces just to move it. The lower section where the LOX tank ruptured is being chopped into even smaller chunks because there's nothing left to salvage. Here's the brutal reality. Scrap stainless steel sells for less than $1 per kilogram. A cutting-edge aerospace marvel is now worth about the same as recycled appliances. But was this really a complete disaster? Actually, SpaceX just bought something more valuable than the booster itself. Real-world data on pressure limits, weld integrity, and failure modes under extreme cryogenic stress. Ship 39, the Block 3 upper stage scheduled for Flight 12, is about to begin cryotesting. Every lesson from B-18's destruction makes Ship 39 safer. The company has done this before, turning catastrophic failures into breakthroughs within weeks. That's the SpaceX development model. Still, there's one unavoidable problem. Ship 39 is sitting at Starbase without its booster partner. Flight 12 was meant to showcase the complete Block 3 system in early 2026. Building a new booster from scratch normally takes 2 to 3 months. If SpaceX had to wait for Booster 19 to be fully assembled, tested and certified, we'd be looking at April or May. That delay would cascade through the entire 2026 roadmap. Orbital refueling demonstrations. Mechazilla landing tests for V3, everything. Then SpaceX made an announcement that surprised everyone. They posted on X that the Starbase team plans to have the next Super Heavy booster stacked in December, keeping Flight 12 on track for first quarter 2026. December stacking means less than 3 weeks from now. How is that even remotely possible? The answer reveals how SpaceX's production system actually works. Booster 19 isn't starting from zero. All the major sections are already built and waiting inside the Star Factory. The barrel sections, LOX tank, methane tank, engine section, they're ready. Stacking in Mega Bay 1 takes about a week. After that comes internal integration work, installing fuel tanks, connecting plumbing, mounting the propellant transfer systems. That process typically runs about a month. If everything proceeds smoothly, cryotesting could happen by late December. But even after passing pressure tests, extensive work remains before flight clearance. So when SpaceX says Q1 2026, what are we really talking about? Kiko Donche, SpaceX's VP of Launch, gave us insight at the Economist Space Summit in early November. He specifically mentioned targeting January 2026 for Flight 12. He also revealed they're pushing for 165 to 170 Falcon 9 flights in 2025, and that Starship 5-3 will deliver over 100 tons to orbit. Those are aggressive numbers, and with B-18 gone, that January date now seems optimistic. Which brings us to the question burning in everyone's mind. What about Booster 12? Remember October 13th, 2024? Flight 5, Booster 12 became the first Super Heavy ever caught by Mechazilla's arms. That single moment validated the entire tower catch concept. After landing, B12 went through post-flight inspections, had its flight termination system removed, and then got moved to Rocket Garden as a display piece. It became a monument to what SpaceX had achieved. But then something unexpected happened. On August 6, 2025, B12 suddenly got rolled back from Rocket Garden to Mega Bay 1. No explanation. Did they upgrade systems? Replace engines? Nobody knew. 3 weeks later, Flight 10 launched with Booster 16. The timing suggests B12 might have been prepped as emergency backup. After Flight 10 completed, B12 returned to Rocket Garden in September, reportedly in the best condition it's been since that historic catch. Think about what that means. B12 has already proven everything a booster needs to prove. Static fire, cryo testing, tower catch, all validated. Using it for Flight 12 would be poetic and would absolutely keep that January timeline alive. The booster's job is straightforward. Launch the ship, come back, land on the tower. SpaceX has mastered that sequence. We saw it work perfectly during Flight 11 when they reused Booster 15. Both B15 and B12 are Block 2 designs built from essentially the same blueprint. So if B12 is ready and Flight 12 needs a booster, why wouldn't SpaceX just use it and launch in January? Because there's a fundamental incompatibility that kills this entire scenario. Booster 12 is Block 2 architecture. The hot staging ring was bolted on as an add-on component. Flight 12 isn't just another test. It's the debut of completely upgraded Block 3 hardware. We're talking about Raptor 3 engines with significantly higher thrust, an integrated inner stage built into the booster structure, 3 grid fins instead of 4 to save mass, and a redesigned propellant system that enables payload capacity exceeding 100 tons to orbit. B12 can't support any of those upgrades without a complete rebuild that would cost millions and take months. SpaceX has already made their decision explicit. They're stacking Booster 19 in December to keep Flight 12 on schedule for Q1 2026, not dusting off B12. That tells us everything about where their priorities actually lie. The real breakthrough isn't just catching boosters anymore. That's proven technology now. It's demonstrating the full V3 system capability, unlocking orbital refueling, and validating that 100-ton plus payload capacity. Stepping backward to Block 2 hardware would undermine those goals no matter how flight-ready B12 might be. The B18 explosion itself isn't without precedent in pushing hardware to limits. Back in 2020, NASA's SLS core stage underwent the Green Run test at Stennis Space Center. During final structural testing, NASA and Boeing deliberately pushed the core stage beyond 100% of expected flight loads in what they called an ultimate load test. The LOX tank buckled and burst along a circumferential weld, spraying water everywhere. Their models had predicted the failure point within 2% accuracy. Both NASA and SpaceX use these extreme tests to identify weak points before actual missions. It's expensive education, but it works. So here's where we actually stand. Booster 19 is the real path forward. Sections are being prepared for stacking right now. Flight 12 will happen in Q1 2026, most likely February or March rather than January. Ship 39 will get its proper Block 3 partner, and together they'll prove the capabilities that matter for 2026 and beyond. Booster 12 stays in Rocket Garden, not as a backup plan, but as proof of how far SpaceX has already come. So what's the real story here? When Booster 18 exploded, it looked like a setback, a $50 million disaster that could derail SpaceX's entire 2026 timeline. But what we're actually witnessing is something different. It's the difference between a company that reacts to failure and one that builds failure into the development process. Booster 12 sitting in Rocket Garden represents the past, proof that tower catches work. Booster 19 being stacked in December represents the future, the Block 3 system that will actually deliver 100 tons to orbit and enable everything that comes after. SpaceX could play it safe and reuse proven hardware. Instead, they're pushing forward, accepting a possible delay from January to February or March because the long-term goal matters more than short-term convenience. Meanwhile, beyond SpaceX, the commercial space race is accelerating. Starlab just secured major investment from Janus Henderson and partnered with Leidos for assembly and testing. They're positioned to replace the ISS after 2030 with what investors are calling the best design and most compelling business model in the competition. NASA's commercial LEO program is moving from concept to hardware, and 2025 will bring critical technology demonstrations. The space industry isn't slowing down, it's compounding. Every failure teaches. Every success raises the bar. Flight 12 will happen in Q1 2026 with the right hardware, not the convenient hardware. If you want to stay ahead of every development as SpaceX pushes toward that 100-ton milestone, and commercial stations take shape, subscribe to Space Update 24 Hours. Hit that like button if you're ready to see Starship Blossom 3 prove what it can really do. Drop a comment with your prediction. Will Flight 12 launch in January, February, or March? We'll be here covering every static fire, every stack, every breakthrough. See you in the next one.